Hello, it's Jessica again, and I'm back with another scary and true story. And I'll probably have to break this up into about 2 parts just to cover it all. And so, this first part is going to be basically about my trip getting to California and this incredibly creepy, scary roach motel I stayed in, which I brought something to California with me from that hotel. So, as I was driving with my family through Michigan all the way to California, we obviously had to stop multiple times, take breaks, and stay in hotels. I think we took about 4 days to travel across country with 2 kids, 2 dogs, and 2 cats. It was a wild ride. But I will never forget about this one hotel that we attempted to stay in Wyoming. Now, this hotel, and I will not name drop, but we'll just say it wasn't a hotel, but rather a motel. And even though I did some research on the area, which it didn't have a lot of crime, and I did some research on the hotel, I read the reviews, I tried to do my due diligence to make sure we weren't going to be staying in a murder shack. And so we finally get there. And it's like freaking 7 o'clock in the evening. We've been driving for, 10, 11 hours. And we are exhausted. So we check into this hotel, which from the outside, or motel. Have to stop saying hotel, motel. We check into this motel, and from the outside, it looked like the pictures, somewhat decent. Well, we go check in, and I noticed the inside of the lobby for this motel, it kind of gives you not the most upkept vibe. But again, it's just a lobby. Who cares? So we get our keys, had 2 separate rooms, but we made sure they were right next to each other, but they didn't have adjoining rooms. So there were 2 different doors. And, our plan was we were going to have the kids in one and we were going to be in the next door. And we obviously were going to stay in communication. We weren't going to abandon them. And we were going to make sure when we slept that night, we were going to have one parent sleep in each room, but kind of, give the kids their space to sort of settle down. And we were obviously right next door. Well, so as we go up to the first room, we notice that the door doesn't actually lock, okay? You can just open it without a key card. That should have been red flag number 1. But I'm we can still lock it from the inside. It was still a good deal. Let's try and be troopers about this. We've been traveling all day. We're tired. Let's just get in. It is what it is. So we go in the room. And the first thing that, you normally do is you set down your stuff. So we set down our stuff. Then we go to the next room, which is right next door. And we open the door. That one had no door problems, which was fine. But we walk in that room, and straight up, the first thing I noticed was that the mirror in the bathroom was completely cracked, all across the mirror. It looked like something had been thrown against it, had somehow broken it, but it was still standing. It just wasn't really in one piece, if that makes sense. It was still on the wall, but you could tell something had happened. So I'm setting down the other stuff. We're getting all of our stuff in the rooms, basically. Then once we're in there, we finally start doing some actual, investigating, as people do when they get into a new hotel room. So we're looking in one hotel room, we'll just call it the right hotel room. Left hotel room, right hotel room. Okay, so we're in the right hotel room. We go in there, we start looking around, and we notice that there's stickers on the walls. There is some sort of red fluid that's been streaked on the wall that separates the room from the bathroom. The shower, there is some stuff in there that I wouldn't even stick my feet in there if I had no choice, right? Because I'm just I don't even know what that is. I don't want to think about it. This is just a place to sleep. It's just a place to sleep. That's what I keep telling myself, right? So I go over, I take back the covers because we're how nasty is this room? In one of the beds, there is a certain type of curly hair that comes off of a certain body part in between the sheets, okay? It's straight up, maybe somebody placed it there, but clearly it looked like it had been used, the bed had been used, and maybe just the sheets had been thrown back over it. In another bed, there's dirt in between the sheets. So clearly this room has not been cleaned. We go over to the mini fridge. There's ash debris on top of the fridge. You can't even open the door handle without getting your fingers
in it. So we're like, okay, this room is nasty. But this was the worst part about that room, okay? And this isn't even the worst part about this whole experience, all right? We look, and I notice there's a TV, like most hotel rooms, except on the front of the TV, there is straight up a little like circle icon thing. And I'm like, that's really weird. It's like base of the TV. I'd never seen anything like it before. It's connected to a cord. So I'm thinking maybe it has to do with like, I don't know, the cable or something. We're in Wyoming. I mean, I've really only passed through Wyoming a couple times to move across country a couple different times. Fun experience. But as we're basically like looking and investigating this thing, I notice on the cable it's connected to, it straight up says CCTV. I used to be somebody that had to monitor cameras at different job sites, and they were called CCTV cameras. So the second I saw that, I'm like, oh my gosh, this place is straight up recording people in their rooms, which is illegal. Honestly, I should have reported it to the cops, but I was so freaked out because of what happened next. So, next, go in the other room, the left room, okay, and do some thorough investigating there. As I'm looking and doing the exact same inspection, I notice in this bathroom setup, like there are like, again, reddish, liquidy marks in the shower area. I then go ahead and I'm like, okay, that's bad. And this is the same room that I'm just like, it's next to us and it has a locked door. Maybe this is going to be the worst of it. No. Then we go back out into the regular area where the beds are and straight up lifted up the sheets to find on the inside of each box spring mattress, like the bottom area, there looked like there were bloody drag marks. Like somebody had been dragged across the floor and they were trying to grab the mattress with their hands. So that happened. Okay, all this happens, right? And in my head, I'm so tired. I'm so exhausted. I mean, I'm creeped out, right? And I forgot to tell you this part. My kids, when we went into the right room to, do the investigating, they said that the bathroom door, closed on its own. And it wasn't it just closed from being open. And they didn't, by the way, because neither bathroom door, it was once you push it open, it stays open. Yeah, they said it straight up slammed shut on them and locked itself. And I'm thinking my kids are creeped out. This, is sad. I'm sad that they're scared, but they still have us and we're still here and we're just going to try and make the best of it. It wasn't until, oh my gosh, my boyfriend did some research on the surrounding areas and found out that the hotel across the street where you're sent to get the breakfast, their continental breakfast that was supposedly included with the meal, yeah, you have to go over to this hotel across the street, which has had 12 reports of bedbug infestations. And I'm somebody who had a bedbug infestation in a house that I lived in years ago, and I know how much of a horrifying terror it is to get them out. So as soon as I heard that was my breaking point. That's when I finally freaking was like, okay, we're getting out of here. And even though we didn't actually stay in the rooms, they still charged me, which is ridiculous. I tried to fight it with my bank. They didn't give a crap. Anyway, so as I'm getting ready to leave and we're packing up and stuff, even though I remember my kids saying, oh, the bathroom, it locked itself and it was scary and whatever. I'm chalking it up to, I'm tired. We're all tired. The kids, who knows what exactly happened the second I walked out of that room. Either way, everything is fine and we're all fine. But it turned out, I'm pretty sure that whatever caused those bloody drag marks, on, the bed frame, or box springs, I'm pretty sure that there was something in that room. Because as soon as we got to our new house, that's when things started getting really dicey.